Jay Slater's body was possibly found on Saturday 2 days earlier than we were told.
And we are told on Saturday that allegedly an anonymous tip-off had been received in relation to the ongoing search for the missing persons case, which is obviously Jay Slater. I don't know what form this was, whether it was a shady phone call or a letter or an email. I have no idea what format it was, received in by whoever it was received by. Now, what I do know on top of this is on Sunday, when the Euros final is on, bars, clubs, restaurants here are kicking. And I'm not just talking with locals, there's tourists, there's German tourists, UK tourists, everybody's here. And everybody's really busy. Now, everybody that I seem to bump into or hear the conversations on Sunday were talk of the town is they found they found remains in relation to this case. I don't think any more of this, because I've already heard someone on Saturday, a pretty decent source from the Coast Guard, saying, oh, there's been a tip-off and, apparently they're going to go search for it. So I don't think any more of this on Sunday. Monday, I look at the UK media. I like to stay, abreast of what's going on back home. It's easier than looking at Spanish media, more relevant to me. And there's the breaking news from the BBC that they have just found remains, and they, suspected in the area where Jay Slater was last seen, or where his phone last pinged. Now, this is a head scratcher to me. So I'm like, well, if we're hearing this locally in Tenerife over the weekend, that there's been this apparent tip-off, this information received, that people who aren't locals on Sunday at a Euros final game are talking about this, it's really strange. Now,
30th, after calling in volunteers for a, quote, last push search a day earlier, the search operation has now finished, although the case remains open. A well-placed source added, the daily operation, which has been going on in and around Masca, close to where Jay was last seen, has been brought to an end. If any information comes in that merits a new search...
Most missed this. Civil Guard's words, Ray the Lopez lower ravine, not searched. Also see the drone search operator. One man with a small screen. Automate the drones and record.
Okay, so they're basically all to do with the mountainous stuff. This is what he said when he was asked, can you make it to the sea down the Juan Lopez ravine? This is what he said.
You reach the sea directly from the area you were searching?
You can reach the sea. In fact, last Saturday I went along the whole path. There are old paths which are only occasionally used because it's a cliff with very little attraction for sporting purposes. But you can reach the beach along them. So I reached the beach. We didn't find anything. It's a path that goes above and not along the bottom of the cliff. It has drops, and what's needed are ropes to get down. And we also know he was not equipped for that.
How difficult are the difficult areas?
There are rocky drops that you cannot get beyond. You can only get down with a harness and ropes. The people searching that spot today will have to turn around, I think, because they don't have the necessary equipment. And anyway, the best that Jay could do was simply to walk.
Unfortunately, you get to a point where it's a man trap. You're trapped down there, and the only way for Jay to have gotten out was to just keep heading for that coast. And unfortunately, it was an impossible situation for him,
Are you surprised it's taken so long to find him?
No, not at all. It's to search that area, you have to be focused on your own steps. It's that dangerous. I mean, I'm banged and bruised and scratched and cut, and I had the proper kit to look after your own safety and make sure you don't fall and come to injury yourself, and search for somebody at the same time. It's almost an impossible task. I mean, the Guardia Civil have done a phenomenal job. I can't express in words just how difficult it is.
Well, Chris Pennington, really interesting to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us today on Sky.
Thank you.
Now, England's players have arrived home following their defeat to Spain in the final of Euro 20.
Trap. If Jay's got that far, remember, all he's got no fluids, he's got no phone, he's got no communication, he's in a strange place. Now he's lost, and now he's scared. No one in the world there to help him. And at that point, he finds himself in a man trap. The only thing he's got now is survival instinct. And his survival instinct is gravity. Gravity's going to keep taking him down. Remember, he wasn't climbing mountains, he was going down them. And he was heading for the coast. Now, unless the Guardia Civil or the Spanish military are going to put on another search and really search the areas that we're going to post, then my belief is one day someone else, a hiker, will get in trouble in that barranco, in that ravine, and they'll have to be saved. And only when people go into it again with a search party, I think, are we going to find Jay. Let's say he was lucky and he managed to get through it all against all the odds, and he got to the beach. Even when he got to the beach, it's like something out of Pirates of the Caribbean. There's no access to the beach, only by that barranco or by boat. Jay has made a series of mistakes, not knowing the consequences of those decisions. Jay is stuck somewhere in that barranco, in that mountain, lost. One day he'll be found.
Prefer to be hated than loved, I will be honest with you, because when they say they love you, you don't really know. When they say they hate you, trust me, they hate you.
And so dense, I could not get through it. If I had a machete, if I tried to bulldoze my way through it, and my life depended on it, I probably would have got through it. But it was not safe for me to try and get through it. It was so hard. It's a man trap. Once you're down there and you're in trainers, you're not scrambling back up, you're trapped. It's a man trap. And at that point, you got two options. You roll over and die, or Jay kept going, somehow found his way through it, and after that he was going to meet the biggest challenge you'll see on the map. Then he's got, you know, cliffs to get down and rocks to get down, and to get down to the path to make it way through it. And after that he was going to meet the biggest challenge you'll see on the map. Then he's got, you know, cliffs to get down and rocks to get down, and to get down to the path to make it to the beach. I think honestly what's needed, he would have been exhausted. I'm blown. I came all the way back up, I'm just done in. It's not safe for me or anyone else to go and search down there in the bottom of that ravine. The mountain rescue have been down there, the Guardia Civil have done a great job, but in my opinion, I think the Guardia Civil needs to call in a specialist unit from the Spanish military, and they've got to go back to that ravine. They've got to go back to the V point where the cliffs are and the rocks are, which leads into the boulder alley, the boulder area that goes right down to the beach. I think they need a specialist military unit to come in and research that area. And so dense, I could not get through it. If I had a machete, if I tried to bulldoze my way through it, and my life depended on it, I probably would have got through it. But it was not safe for me to try and get through it. It was so hard. It's a man trap. Once you're down there and you're in trainers, you're not scrambling back up, you're trapped. It's a man trap. And at that point, you got two options. You roll over and die, or Jay kept going, somehow found his way through it, and after that he was going to meet the biggest challenge you'll see on the map. Then he's got, you know, cliffs to get down and rocks to get down, and to get down to the path